Winning in sports creates legends, but too much winning, well, that can create villains. And as the Kansas City Chiefs chase a historic third straight Super Bowl, they're not just making history, they're facing more and more haters, right? Chiefs fatigue. Many are blaming the refs, so let's take a look at the numbers. In the Chiefs' past 12 playoff games, they have never had more penalties than their opponents. And only one time did they have more penalty yards than whoever they played. Sharp contrast to the regular season where penalty numbers are more balanced. Many people taking that frustration over the officiating online, creating viral memes, joking that the Chiefs' most valuable player isn't Mahomes or Kelsey. It is the officials. And it's not just the Chiefs, right? Whenever a team or a player dominates, fans seem to turn against them. Case in point, ask Tom Brady. The man has won 7 Super Bowls. But for years, Brady's critics loved to claim that the refs were always on his side. It was fun to root against him if you weren't a Patriot fan. It's the same story with other teams with a history of winning. The Yankees, for example, their legacy of 27 championships has made them a target for generations of baseball fans. And then you see the Cowboys there, dubbed America's team. They haven't been to a Super Bowl in nearly 30 years, but that has not stopped the jokes or the hate. Clinical psychologist Dr. John Duffy is with us. We're all getting into Super Bowl headspace right now. No matter who you're rooting for, one thing is true: the psychology of sports really does play mind tricks on us. What is this idea about, winning fatigue, or that we love to hate a team that just we think is won too much and it's time for somebody else?
Well, first of all, I can tell you, Marni, that Chiefs fatigue is a very real thing. I see it in my office, and people in my field have studied Patriots fatigue for the last couple of decades, Yankees fatigue.
Yeah.
People do get tired of these perennial winners, and there's a couple of reasons for it. One of them is resentment, right? Your city gets to win. That means my city, my team doesn't get to win. We never get to win the division, whatever you might add to that. There's this deep-seated resentment. There's also this idea that we like uncertainty in our sports. When we turn on a game, we don't want to know the outcome. And too often, when the Chiefs take the field, I think too many people feel like we know how this is going to go, and something's being robbed of us here because we already know how this ends.
Right. And we also like someone to blame, Dr. Duffy. So in this case, the officials, right? It's all your fault, ref.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We look for reasons that team is perpetually winning, and rarely do we want that to be that's just a better team. The refs tend to be often the fall guys, and that might be true and it might not be true, but the bottom line is it's something we really want to believe, because the last thing we want to believe is that our team is not as good as their team. Really,
Yeah.
like, it's a very fundamental core psychological concept.
Yeah, but I want to see a good game. I really don't have any skin in the game. I mean, I would have liked to seen the Bears or the Seahawks, which are sort of my 2 adopted teams. But what is it about rooting for the underdog that seems to overtake our psychology?
Yeah. I think that's in large part, there's a couple of fallacies around that, because we think, like, if we root for the underdog, that belief that they're going to win is somehow going to affect the outcome of the game. Of course, it won't, but it's something we want to see. It's partly wanting to see those Chiefs or those Patriots lose, but it's also that a lot of us in life feel like underdogs, right? So we want to know that that's a possibility, that that's something that can happen. The underdog can, in a high pressure situation, come out victorious and triumphant. Like, that's a story we want to believe is true.
Yeah, that darn Tom Brady and those damn Yankees, every time they get us. We'll see if the Chiefs can pull it off. What a story it will be. I'm just rooting for a good game. Dr. Duffy, thank you as always. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.